Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild. Hate you in the building. So original. Got the haters catch some feelings. Get your hands to the zero. Keep them held high. So original. Got the haters catch some feelings. Get your hands to the zero. Rise up weekdays. Catch us live. Somebody, let's go.
Good morning. Good afternoon and good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in good spirits and all that good stuff. Yeah, guys, there was a lot of things that there were some things that went down over last night, and I know a lot of people were covering it. That's one of the reasons why I didn't go on live, because I was like, all right, you know, there's a bunch of people that are covering this right now. I'm going to go to sleep. But tomorrow morning, I will talk about it. I will cover it, etc. Because I definitely wanted to hop on and do it, but I was like, you know, I know you guys not only watch my show, you guys watch a lot of other people's shows as well. So I'm like, you know what? Everyone's going on at the same time. Nah, I'll do this tomorrow morning. You know, let them do their thing, and I will do this in the morning. Now, this story, this case, I think it's a case. Okay. And I think a lot of us can agree that this is a case, okay? I don't know about 5-0. I'll just say that. But this story has gotten crazier and crazier and crazier, and it's been going off now it's gone off the rails, okay? Now it's going off the rails, and I just hope that it doesn't turn into a circus. I'm seeing stuff on the Twitters. Okay, I'm seeing things on the social medias, people talking and all that, and trust me, I'm feeling the exact same way about how this could turn into an absolute crazy ride of a circus. It's already a mess. I'm wondering if it's gonna get. I'm wondering how messy this is gonna get, y'all. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm wondering how messy this is actually gonna get. In fact, I hope it doesn't get messy, because I'd rather us focus on justice than tabloids. Does that make sense? Than creating tabloids. I'll just say that, okay? But there's some really crazy stuff going on here. We got to talk about this. We definitely have to talk about these recent interviews that have come out. We got a lot to talk about. So let's get into this thing. So before we get into everything, please do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Send it past 300 likes so you guys start to file in. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to every single last one of y'all. It really does mean a lot that you guys are here, okay? And, of course, if you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe button, all right? Hit it. Also, if you feel like supporting this channel, by all means, hit that join button down below. Become a member, or you can also join my Patreon, patreon.com/the Pascal Show over there as well. Okay. So we got to get into some things. We can't be on here forever today, unfortunately. So I'm going to give you guys the broad strokes again of things that have been going on, the information that's been dropping as of late. There's new information that dropped overnight as well about a certain someone that we are going to be learning more about here in just a minute. It's crazy stuff, guys. Okay. Now, we already know that Rudy Farias went missing, or was reported missing, 8 years ago, in March of 2015. Of course, a few weeks ago, he was found near the end of June. He was found slumped over and in very, very bad shape, okay, outside of a church. Now, Good Samaritan took him into the hospital, and later on, they found out that he was Rudy Farias. And of course, let me show you his face one more again. So, and this is him in 2015. This is when he was 17 years old. Let me just make that abundantly clear, okay? So, Rudy Farias was 17 in 2015. Now, this young man, I mean, he's a grown man. He is a young man. He is 25 years old now. He was found outside of a church. Later on, allegedly the mother and himself came clean saying that they were hiding the fact that he never was missing at all. That, in fact, the part that is the truth is when he initially went missing for one day. He went missing for a day, came back home a day later, but he never was confirmed. They never reported him being found. They never said, Mama never said, hey, my son is home. You can close this case. He's home safe. Okay? So for 8 years, he has been hiding in plain sight, being held captive in his own home, locked up. The amount of information that has been pouring out as of recently is absolutely shocking. I think we can all agree on that. Okay? We can all agree on that. Okay? So, pretty wild stuff. Now, while he was in this hotel room, Quanell X, okay, which we are going to be looking at what he had to say here in just a minute. But Quanell X was out here doing going out there to just, trying to get to know this young man, Rudy, just having conversations with him and all that stuff. Through this, Rudy felt comfortable with him, comfortable enough for him to say, hey, I want to talk to Quanell X. I want to talk to Quanell. I don't want to talk to 5-0. I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to talk to Quanell. So in this hotel room, he goes on to tell this very shocking and elaborate story. Shocking information that I can't even repeat. I don't even have the stomach to say out loud. We're going to hear it again here. And if you saw my show yesterday morning, I recommend you go and check out when Quanell X actually made this a public statement out to the world on these allegations, these accusations of what Rudy said his mother, Janie Santana, put him through. The things that she put him through are absolutely, you can't even say it out. You can't say it out loud without actually choking up a little bit or feeling sick to your stomach. So he goes out, he makes this big statement, letting everybody know about what this person, this terrible, devilish human being, is alleged of doing. Let me just say something really quick before I continue on. First and foremost, there is no place on this planet that this woman should be able to hide away in. And I don't care. Like, if you threw away all of the allegations of the SA and the crazy amount of stuff that's being alleged about her, put all those things aside for a second. The fact that she did not tell 5-0 or notify anyone for 8 years that this young man was found and he was home, the fact that she was hiding that information alone, she should be looking at some serious charges. She should be, at least in my personal opinion. Now, I get it. We heard in the press conference something different. But at the same time, let me just say that really quick. Let alone the amount of stuff that we've heard, these allegations, in which we will be hearing again here in just a minute. If you pushed all those things aside, the fact that she hid this information, crucial information, that her son, who had been missing for 8 years, was actually home the entire time, she should be catching some serious charges. But now you add on the other shocking pieces of information that Rudy told Quanell X. And yet still, nothing. doesn't make sense to me, to be really honest. It only boils my blood even more. So Quanell X came out, said all this information, shocking information. He's breaking down in tears. He's weeping in front of the camera. Not the kind of guy I would think would be a weeper on camera, right? So we all sit, the public, after we hear all this information, the public is at bated breath, waiting at bated breath for the cops, for HPD, Houston PD, to come out and break it down for us, right? Give us the truth, or we're all sitting there waiting, salivating for information. Satiate that hunger for justice, right? And for truth and transparency. Well, we had that press conference, and guess what happened? Not a damn thing. In fact, they said they're not pressing any charges. They said that the information that Quanell X put out there for everyone, the public, to hear, is that he didn't confirm that. They had an investigator who stepped forward and said, oh yeah, we have certain tactics and there's certain code words and so on and so forth that we listen to give us some signs of if there is actual trauma, especially SA, et cetera, that happened to a particular individual. And none of those words came out. None of those trigger words came out. So basically they're saying that this man is straight up just walked over to the news and just told us a fairy tale. Some huge fabrication of things. Pretty shocking, right? Even more shocking is that they said, he's an adult. He's an adult. We're not pressing any charges. He's an adult. He was an adult when he was 17. He's an adult now. We're not pressing charges as of yet. Right now, we're not pressing any charges. Yet this young man wasn't trusting the police. He was trusting Quanell X. Why? Because I feel that this was a disconnect from the powers that be. That Quanell X will be the person who will go out there searching, or at least speaking on the truth. What we saw with law enforcement in that press conference was just a cover-up, it felt like. Just, a dog, scooting their dirt over the excrement they just deposited right by a tree, right? Just kicking dirt over it. We don't need to see that. We don't need to see that. Yet all that information was massive. Massive information. And yet law enforcement sat there and said, well, he didn't say anything then, so we can't really do anything about it until he actually just discloses that information. Yet allegedly, Quanell says that stuff was recorded. That very detective that went to the press conference and said, we asked him questions and he didn't say nothing and there were no trigger words and blah, blah, blah. He was actually in the room with him when Rudy confessed, or at least dropped, these bombshells of allegations. So make that make sense. So now you got a public figure, a known activist in Houston, basically being called a fibber. So, of course, Quanell was quick to say, hey, no, not on my watch. Hell to no. I'm about to do every single interview I can think of, I can get my hands on. And interviews did he do? In fact, he does have a press conference later on today. Hopefully, I'll be around at that time. He has a press conference around 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, if I'm correct, where he's going to be making a public statement about all these allegations, about all this stuff, about HPD not stepping up to the plate and doing their job. So I got a couple interviews, not only just interviews from Quanell X, because there's two of them. In fact, it's funny because I thought that Brian Enton was going to be interviewing Quanell X, and it looks like it never happened. So I'm still waiting on that, if that ever does happen. But nonetheless, he did do a couple of interviews, one from local news, which we're going to take a look at. There's these clips from the interview, which it's really choppy, but hey, I want you guys to hear this just raw and in your face, okay? And then he did an interview with Cuomo, which, you know, of course, I know a lot of us have all seen. A lot of y'all have seen it as well, but I'm going to play these two videos together so that we can watch this as a family, because at the end of the day, this is still something that isn't sitting right in my heart. Something is not right here at all. I don't know if they're hiding something. I don't know if there's any type of foul play or whatever you want to call it. But at the same time, this is something that is just disheartening, frustrating, and extremely confusing as well. This is why I mean that this is going to turn into a circuit, or I hope it doesn't happen, but I do feel in my heart of hearts that this is going to turn into a circus, solely because of the amount of misinformation, the amount of BS that keeps flying around here, the amount of confusion that is circling around this particular story, this particular case. And the fact that this kid, this young man now, okay, should be receiving swift justice right now, and he's not. For some weird reason, because of red tape or whatever the F it is, this kid is not getting the swift justice that he rightfully deserves. Let's take a look at this interview. This is from the local news, okay? And these are clips. Like, this is not the actual, this is not the video that you would see on the news. This is literally just on him saying some things. So I wanted to give you guys this, and then we're going to take a look at some other stuff as well. Man, it just doesn't make sense. It really doesn't. This woman is still out here, okay? And I know some of y'all, I'm sorry, one more thing. I know some of y'all are out here, you know, sending me messages and commenting on my previous video as well, letting me know about things. I know that there's other videos being shown of, or at least this is what you guys are telling me in the comments, that there are the mother, okay, Janny Santana, is out here, or at least yesterday, we're circling around the house of where he is staying at right now, stalking, lurking after her own son. When they took him away to distance him from this alleged monster, okay? And I'm telling you right now, with the information that we have right now, even if these allegations are true or not, the fact that she did not report him found 8 years ago, the fact that she sat there and utilized this for whatever it is that she utilized it for, still makes her a monster, in my personal opinion. So let's continue. Let's look at this video. All right, I'm going to be jumping in and out, but let's rock and roll. Hit the number one. Let me know you guys can hear this. All right, let's get it.
First off, I guess you watched the press conference today with the
Oh, come on. Hold on, guys.
Houston Police Department. What was your initial reaction when you saw it?
I believe it was a very confusing press conference. I wind up after the press conference being more confused about things involving this case.
Oh,
When I listened to the chief, who I do believe is a good man, who's done some good things, who's had his ups and downs, but he's a good man. I've always wanted to be truthful. For him to say, as a father himself, that no sexual abuse was reported. My problem with that, Chief, is your detective sat right there with me.
Bang. You heard that right there. He's sitting there going, I'm confused. I don't get this. Why? Who he's saying the chief of police is a good man. I like him. He's a good man. He's had his ups and downs. Nobody's perfect, right? This should be a slam dunk, right? This should be an easy layup, this case. And yet they dropped the ball. Then on top of it, he said that very detective that went up and said all this mess was in the room when this confession came out. So why are they sitting here saying, oh, no. You know, the trigger words, blah, blah, blah. What are you talking about? You were sitting right there. Do you see why this could turn into a circus? Do you see why this could turn into something extremely chaotic? Because we're hearing this type of information. We heard what Quanell X said just the other day. And I don't care about this man's, like, if what he's done for the community, what he hasn't done for the community, whether you like him or where his political where his political thoughts lie and all that stuff. Scratch all of that. This is about the human condition. This is about taking care of somebody who is being aided viciously for years. Do you think this guy would go out there and just start yapping? Just yapping off? Just for the sake of yapping off? That doesn't make any sense. But I digress. Doesn't make any sense, y'all. But I could see this turning into a circus solely because one side is saying something different than the other. And in fact, one side is not doing anything about it. And we're seeing more work from this man right here, who is not a detective, last I checked. He is not in law enforcement at all. And he's out here doing all this work because he cares about the human condition. He cares about the safety of human beings, regardless of where he stands. And now he's out here having to step in front of a camera again to even save his own reputation, save his own face, because 5-0 couldn't back him up on the information that they even heard themselves when he broke the devastating news. That's ridiculous.
For an hour and 15 minutes and heard every word come out of Rudy's mouth about what took place at home with his mother. He heard the young man say he was sick and tired of being treated like a slave. He was sick and tired of her crossing inappropriate boundaries.
Is that how he worded it, Rudy?
He went on to say, he said, she kept crossing boundaries that she should not cross. And it was not right. It was inappropriate. That detective sat right next to me and listened to those words.
Make that make sense. The what?
What that young man told us and described to us.
So you're doubling down with what you said yesterday.
I'm not doubling down. I'm standing straight up and standing firm, and I'm not scratching where I don't itch. But there were times he seemed mature. Also, there were times he seemed like he was a normal adult speaking and describing something. This BS about him being nonverbal, the man is not nonverbal. He's very articulate. So
of course, I got to cut in and out of here, guys. But you can hear that he's sitting here going, "Hey, I will stand my ground. I will die on this hill. I don't care. Let me die on this hill then. But I know what's the truth and I know what's not the truth." Then on top of it, that same detective is in the room. What are they hiding? Why wouldn't they just say, why would they like see? Okay, let me just grant me a little bit of grace here for a second, okay, guys? Riddle, just let me ask you guys. When it comes to the press conference, I get it that they can't sit there and go, yeah, he done confessed everything, and yeah, mama did all that. I get it that they don't want to put out all that information right off the bat because there could be mobs outside, or that could cause her to kick rocks, try to cross over the border. So I don't know. Okay, anything that she could do in her power to get the hell out of there as quickly as possible without her getting caught. Because let's be real, to me, she looks like a flight risk. To be really honest, that's what I feel in my heart of hearts. All right, but then again, there's a part of me that feels like she wouldn't go anywhere without Rudy, which is really disturbing as well because of the obsession. I'll try to remember to talk about that later. But I get not putting out all that information, right? All that could be very dangerous. Putting out that confirmation of, yep, yeah, we heard all that stuff. But there's a way that you can say it without it being like, yeah, homeboy just done lied. This dude just lied. He just lied through his teeth. We used to we listen for these code words and all that, and if we don't get those code words, then everything's bupkis. Nah. When you were in the room, you heard it, and it was allegedly recorded as well. And now you're going to the public, and everybody in the public, the news media, is all asking the same thing: is this true or not? And you basically say he's fibbing. That's a big problem. I feel like I get it. You got to protect and play things close to the vest, as cops like to say, all the time. But you can't tell me there wasn't another way of you saying, like, you could have not said that at all and just said, yeah, we're working on that right now. Can't confirm or deny anything right now. The one thing, whatever, you can't, maybe even not even that. Just saying we're working close on that. That's it. Not when we talked to him, that wasn't what he said. When you were in the room and you heard something else. Like this, the problem I have is, imagine if that was a situation where this kid said, I just unalived like 7 people. And he told that to Quanell. And that detective is in the room. You're telling me you wouldn't go and do your due diligence? You wouldn't look into that kind of stuff? You wouldn't investigate? But because it's a mom doing this to an adult male, to her own adult son, it isn't that big of a deal? The hell? Again, make it make sense. There's a way you could have said at the press conference something that at least audibly is a little bit more pleasing than what they said originally. It's just trash to me, guys. It's trash. Moving on.
Went in and stepped out. We were standing at the door cracked. She starts badgering him about, what did you tell him? What did you tell him? If you tell him about what I did, if you tell him about the abuse, I'll kill myself. That's what she said, and several of us standing at the door heard her say it to him.
Okay. I know I'm breaking this down a lot, but I'm sorry. He's dropping bizoms, okay? He's dropping napalm, yo. Okay? He apocalypsing now. This is just napalm, and now people are coming after him, basically saying he just straight lying this entire time. Come on, y'all. Come on. Why would he make this? He's got better things to do. Like take care of his family. Providing. Being the father figure that he is. Being the leader of the community in which he speaks on behalf of. All that stuff. Why would he waste his time putting out this information, saying any of this stuff? The fact that he said mama came in and they heard her say this ish. If you said any of these things, if you tell them the truth, basically, I'm about to myself. Come on, y'all. This man got better things to do than to lie. But okay.
We heard her tell that boy, several of us, that if he didn't change his story, she would kill herself.
He said it twice.
God is my witness, we heard her say that. Man, he's a victim.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe HPD with their press conference today further re-victimizes that young man. Because it's almost like they're treating him like a suspect and not a victim. You say there's no report of sexual abuse, but you won't answer the question if there was a sexual relationship. You run away from that question. I know what was said, and I'm gonna tell you something now. I got proof of what was said. I'll leave it at that for now.
Wait. So see now, this is the moment when I wish I could have him on the show right now, and I'd be like, yo, so what kind of proof you got? What's the proof that you got? Because all of us want to know what kind of proof you got. Was he recording on his phone? Because I know that it was being recorded. He said it was being recorded. So where's the proof? I would love to see it. And Quanell, if you're watching this show, what up, though? Can you just send it over here? That'd be greatly appreciated, because I would love to hear that. I think a lot of us would love to hear that. Okay. Miss Smith said, yeah, whoops, no, that's not Miss Smith. He recorded it all, grateful. Yeah. Miss Smith said, though, maybe he recorded it. Yeah. I mean, he did say it was being recorded. So it does make me wonder if that was actually being recorded at that. If he was the one maybe secretly recording, but then I wonder if it's if you can record without somebody's permission type of situation, right? If it can be used in court, if this ever does see the inside of a courtroom, so on and so forth. I am wondering about that. But real quick, I got a super chat really quick. Caesar, hey, what's up, man? Thank you so much for the 5. Why are people so evil, Pascal? You know what? I wish I could break that down for everybody. I wish I had the answers. I really do. But unfortunately, I don't. But I really wish I did, because I'd be like, okay, so this is the reason why. Let's break it down. Here's the reason why people are evil. Follow the bouncing ball, right? And I just turn it into a children's song, playing a ukulele. You know what I mean? Easily. But unfortunately, no. It's not an easy thing to explain, right? I feel like that's the one thing I get worried about trying to explain it to my own children in the future, that evil does exist and there are bad people out here and all that stuff. But I digress. It just hurts my heart to think that we can remove the rose-colored glasses from our own children's eyes because of how terrible the world is, or how terrible the world can be. Because I do think the world is a beautiful place. There's a lot of beauty and a lot of good, but there is a lot of evil too. And it's just sad. It's just sad. But let's move on. Let's continue here.
Did the detectives hear her say this to Rudy?
Several of us standing there, the detectives were standing there too.
Wow.
We cracked the door.
So at this point, were you thinking
I'm being honest with you. There was 2 things I was thinking. Based on everything that, 1, he was not going home or anywhere else with her. 2, they were going to call and get charges accepted. She told multiple lies. They knew she was lying.
Do you worry about Rudy's health and safety right now?
Absolutely, I do. Because I believe she's at the root of the mental problems he's having. I believe she's at the root of that young boy living in fear. She had convinced him that he had warrants out for his arrest because he ran away from home. She had convinced him to live under the assumed name because law enforcement was looking to put him in jail for running away from home. She convinced that young boy that he had warrants for his arrest, and that's how she manipulated him and exploited him and took advantage of it. And then giving him help, helping him giving the drugs, mushrooms, taking him to vape shops, getting high with him. She was getting high with him. Oh, brother, okay. I mean,
listen, like I've said before, this man has plenty of other things on his docket to take care of. Plenty of other things. Why would this man go out of his way to straight up lie? Why would he make up all this stuff? And also, to add on to this, why would he go the extra mile in saying, yes, I'll sit down and do these interviews with everybody? He's doing interviews. He's doing a press conference later on today. If he really was lying, if this was all just a fabrication of his own mind, why would he go out of his way to do all of this extra work? He would just go into hiding. No, I can't answer this. I can't do anything. I'm not going to say anything, blah, blah, blah. He wouldn't say a doggone thing. Yet there are people out here that are trying to come after him because they believe what 5-0 said in that damn press conference, which, by the way, was nothing. They said nothing in that as far as progress in this investigation. They said nothing, guys. Nothing. Got a super chat. Ashley, thank you so much for the 20. Quanell kept saying in the press conference, Rudy told me this and that. This interview in the suit, he says, Rudy told us this and that. Could it be that all these people are in on this for teeing, can't use that word either, and GoFundMe money? Ashley, that's a very good question because it does make you wonder about a lot of different things. This reminds me of, and thank you again for the $20 super sticker, but this makes me think about the Jesse McFadden story over in Henrietta, Oklahoma. Okay. Or in Henrietta, Arkansas. Wow. My brain is, hold on. I'm having Oklahoma. Jeez. In Henrietta, Oklahoma. Remember that whole situation, right? That terrible thing that went down. 6 people lost their lives. One was one, and of course, one took their own life, and then he took the lives of 6 others, all that stuff, right? Remember, there was so much deep-seated stuff that was going on throughout that entire case, and still things are still developing. More information has been slowly trickling out, right? And you start to realize maybe there's something deep-seated within this whole thing. Same thing here. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that it's the chief of police doing this stuff, but I don't know. Or he's involved or whatnot, but it does make you wonder what the heck is going on here. Remember Tyree Nichols, young man that was pulled over in Memphis, was beaten to his demise by a bunch of cops on the street corner, like he was beaten to his demise like he owed them money. And we looked into things. We talked about these things. We started to see that the Memphis PD, even the chief of police, all the way up to the chief of police, all of the corruption started there and started trickling all the way down. We're starting to see more and more things. And I'm not sitting here saying that all cops are bad. And no. I'm not saying any of that, okay? I'm just speaking on things that were put out here on specific police departments throughout the country. just corruption, terrible things that were going on. And now we're seeing this type of thing happen. It does make you wonder what's up. Just makes you wonder what's up. Doesn't mean that there's corruption. It just makes you wonder what's up and why this is happening. That's all. Let me play out the rest of this video. It's a few more seconds.
Is there anything else you want to say?
That's it. But there's nowhere in the world you can tell me in your press conference, HPD, that she lied over and over again during this investigation. And those lies hindered an ongoing investigation to a missing person.
He ain't wrong.
Created assumed names. And she's to be charged with nothing.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, she was interfering with an investigation on trying to find the very son that she said was missing, that was actually living locked up, allegedly locked up in her own house. Again, make that make sense. Why they didn't put press charges on this woman right off the bat. And I will say this too. And I know a lot of us are going to, we've had this conversation a multitude of times. Okay. But one other question I have is this. If Rudy was a girl, 25-year-old girl, 25-year-old woman, I'm sorry. Same scenario, same situation. Except it's a man, a father, doing this to their own daughter. And those allegations were said to the same person, Quanell X. Do you really think that they would let that 25-year-old woman go back to the house with her father? I'm going to tell you right now, hell no. That would never happen. And if it did happen, if it would ever happen, I'll tell you this too. The circus would have been happening yesterday. I'm just telling you. The circus would have been happening yesterday. There'd be people outside, signs, bullhorns, noisemakers, shoot, people dressed up as chickens, whatever you want to call it. The circus would be outside that door, shaking the very foundation of that house with noise and everything else. And yet, it's funny. When it comes to this situation where a man or a young man who clearly is severely psychologically damaged speaks out and says, "You're here, I need your help. I'm only talking to you. Here's the truth." The other thing though, too, think about this for a second. Hold on. This just popped in my head. Think about this for a second. Remember the information that we have heard so far. This mother, this woman, okay, this alleged monster was terrorizing her son, her own kin, her own flesh and blood, okay? But throughout the entire time, she was making him scared of going outside. She was making him scared of going and being, say, caught by the police, being known that he was alive and found, that he was safe, right? Because she made him think that if he was to be found, he said, "Yeah, hi, I'm Rudy. How you doing? I'm the guy. I've been found." She said that they would arrest him for crimes that he allegedly was committing, that he committed, when he didn't commit any crimes. She was just manipulating his brain, right? So think about this. Why do you think he said, "I want to talk to Quanell. I don't want to talk to no 5-0. I want to talk to Quanell"? Because Quanell is not a cop. He was still scared in his mind. His mind is so brainwashed. He literally still at his 25-year-old self, his own 25-year-old mind, he believed whatever his mom has been pumping in his brain since the day he was born was actual truth. He believed that if he said anything out loud to 50, that he would be shackled up and thrown into a cage for the rest of his life. That's why he wanted to talk to Quanell. That's why he confessed everything to him and not to 50, because he was not comfortable with talking to the po-po. Literally, think about it. Think about it. So, of course, he's like, Quanell, I'm talking to you. You're not a cop. And I like your demeanor. Whatever it is. Whatever energy Quanell was giving him. Right? So he said, sure. I'm going to talk to you because you're not a cop. Think about it, guys. Break it down. Reverse math, okay? We're hearing all this information. Clearly, he was terrified of talking to 50 because he didn't want to get arrested. It's as simple as that, y'all. And now you got people out, you got 50 out here trying to retract this thing that's so frustrating about this, trying to retract the information that Quanell got from this young man, the confession, because I feel that they feel some type of way that it wasn't confessed to 50, it was confessed to a civilian, and they want to take the full praise for getting him to confess. But it's weird. They were still in the room when he said all this stuff to Quanell. Allegedly, it was recorded as well. So why would they go onto a press conference and just demolish everything that they allegedly were in the room witnessing as well? Is it hearsay? Because they were the second party in the room, yet they were still witnesses to the information? But I'm telling you right now, if this was a young woman, another story. This would be a whole other story. This monster of a parent would be locked up right now, or at least detained and questioned till they can't even talk anymore. Just doesn't make sense, guys. I got another video. This is the same thing. Quanell is in this interview with Cuomo. Okay, so he does drop a few more pieces of information in here as well. Let's take a look at this too, real quick before we go into any of that. Michelle, thank you so much for becoming a member. Welcome to the family. Thank you so much for your support. And just like Michelle, you can join, hit that join button down below and become a member. All right, that'll be greatly appreciated. Okay, but let's take a look at this video. Let's rock and roll.
Yesterday, he was supposedly found alive at a church, unresponsive, with bruises. He then told someone, who we have tonight, that his mother had held him captive for 8 years, drugged him, and used him as a sex slave. Never heard anything like it, if it's true. Police are saying now, well, he was only missing for 1 day, and that Farias and his mother, Janie, had deceived cops for years. Oh, really? Why did it take you so long to figure that out? Let me show you the timeline here, all right? This is our new beautiful studio. I can do this kind of stuff. I can walk around and do different things that make it easier for you to consume information. March 6, 2015, they say he's missing. March 7th, 2015, the mom reports Rudy missing. September 2018, relative calls 911 to say Rudy is not missing. That's 2018, okay? We're in 2023 now. The
3
cops
years.
investigate, don't find Rudy. Really? Even though there become increasing and regular reports that Rudy is around the neighborhood. June 29th, 2023, he's finally found outside his Houston church. July 5th, Rudy and the mother admit he hasn't been missing. Now, all right, so it's just about the mom and maybe the kid and they did this, it's on them. No, here's why. Here's why it's worse than that. It's more than that, okay? The mother was given all kinds of information that should have been red flags like they were for this person you're going to meet tonight who was a private investigator on the story. Rudy is 18 years old. The mother said he's 17, got his date wrong, got his birthday wrong. Rudy was reported seen in the neighborhood again and again. The mother told people it was her nephew. The cops took her at her word. They don't even check. Cops stopped Rudy and his mother numerous times, but accepted the fake names that they gave. Are you serious? This is in Houston. You know, it's not like in some one-light town in the middle of the country somewhere. Right? Some backwater. This is a real metropolis, okay? A backpack was found. The mother says, oh, yeah, it's Rudy's. It winds up not being Rudy's and belonging to an obviously much younger boy. All of this just kind of went away. All right, I want to bring in somebody who really made a difference in this kid's life in terms of getting the truth back out here. Human rights activist Quanell X. Hey, Quanell, thank you so much for doing this. Thank you for your role in the situation.
Thank you for having me, sir.
So, what do you believe the truth is about Rudy's situation?
Initially, when the mother first reached out to me, she said that she felt investigators were intimidating her and harassing her and that she was concerned about her son's well-being. And
so she really thought that he would come in to her rescue. That's really interesting.
So when she called me, when it was time to meet with the investigators, I went in with a strict open mind, believing that maybe the mother was being harassed and law enforcement was being a little bit more insensitive. Well, come to find out, what she told me the day before was not matching up to what she was telling investigators on yesterday when they were questioning her. She told me that the gentleman that had been seen around her house was an ex-boyfriend, but during interrogation with law enforcement, she told them in my presence that the gentleman was her nephew. But also, her family had already indicated to us there was no nephew who was ever there. So once we saw Rudy was clutching her leg. She said Rudy was unresponsive, that he was nonverbal. But when we were able to remove Rudy from her, he said, well, I want Quanell X to stay in the room with me. I said, okay, and looked at the investigator. He said, no problem, fine, it's his choice. So when we removed her, the kid opened up. Took about maybe 5 minutes, but he opened up. And one of the things that he first said that stood out to me was, I just wanted to be free. I felt like a slave. He went on to say that she told him that you now got to be my husband. I'm going to now call you daddy of the house now. And she also convinced him that law enforcement was looking for him to arrest him, that he had warrants for his arrest for running away from home, and that if they caught him, he was going to jail.
Quanell,
so she conditioned him to believe, yes.
Conditioned him to believe, meaning just through words, or do you think that he was abused by his own mother physically?
Oh, she did a lot more than that. She gave him drugs. She provided him with mushrooms, other type of drugs. Also, he admitted those things to us in the meeting. He also said that he ran away when he finally ran away from home and stole her car and left the house. He said, I just wanted to be free. We said, why? He said, because she was making me do things I knew was inappropriate. She was violating my boundaries. We said, what happened? He said, she was making me get in her bed at night and sleep with her. And then he asked him to say, well, anything else happened? He admitted that she would kiss him on his mouth and his lips when he was in the bed with her, and that he did not like it. And he told her that he did not like that. And sometimes he would sneak out of the bed and get on the floor, but she kept making him get in the bed. He also said to us that she kept locking him in the room for years and then letting him out when it was time to go to work with her or whenever she wanted him to run an errand for her.
Hey, thank you for watching.
So basically, like he only came in, or he only went out when they went to work, when she took him with her to work, or if he had to run an errand. But it does make you wonder why it took, it's just a question. I'm not trying to point any blame on anybody, but it does make you wonder why he didn't take those opportunities when he had to run an errand to just kick rocks. But again, Stockholm syndrome is put into play here. I mean, there's a lot you can think of in regards to all of this. Okay, it is just, it is just, what the heck? Come on, it's just, there we go. It's just devastating to think that this young man was that trapped. was absolutely that trapped. I wish that they had the whole interview, right? I'm sure they're cutting it up into a million different pieces right now. But it is still, no matter what, there's a lot that you can take from that whole interview. Okay. There's a lot of foul play or a lot of bad that happened here. But you know, when you got your whole family, I'm telling you, when you have your whole family coming out and trying to drag you, okay, not sitting there going, I'm standing by my sister and she didn't do nothing. Those allegations are not true, so on and so forth. Nah, not really. We heard Team Auntie after the press conference, which was glorious, right? Was glorious. But Cuomo did end up interviewing one of the aunts, again, one of the aunties, one of the team aunties as well. I know one's a cousin, and two of them are aunties, I think. But at the same time, I just call them Team Auntie, okay? And I'm going to continue calling them Team Auntie because they've been out here, okay?
Sorry to meet you.
They've been out here doing their due diligence and speaking on behalf of this as well. So now that you have the sisters or siblings, relatives, etc., family members coming out and echoing what Quanell X has been saying in all these interviews and all that stuff, it makes you wonder. It makes you think, what the heck is going on here? Why are the cops not saying the full truth? Or why are they lying? Or what are they hiding? That's the other thing. And why are they hiding this? Why? Let's take a look. This is an interview with one of the relatives, okay? Yes, the Tias, okay? And yes, I think that they need to continue talking. That's the only thing that they can do, right? The more we talk about this, and other platforms talk about this, of course, as well, and all that, the more it stays out here and the more we can get swift justice. And I know I just posted another thing, or I posted somebody's comment saying we need to protect our boys. Yes, I agree. We need to protect our men and our boys too. You know, it's not only just the women and our girls here that need protection. It's all of us, right? We need to protect our children. And we need to protect our people. We need to protect them. But it sucks that you see right here a family family, extended family, and people that are banding together and doing everything they can to get justice for this young man. And imagine the amount of, look at the amount of effort that has to go down just to get justice when this young man, has come out and has literally said that he is being treated as, and you see it right there, holding him holding him against his own will and treating him as an S slave. It's crazy how much work we have to do just to get justice for this kid. It's insane. Let's take a look at this.
Under these circumstances, but at least now your cousin will hopefully be able to get some help. Do you believe what Quanell X just told us, that Rudy told him that he was never missing, that the mother played a game on his head and abused him in horrible ways?
Yes, I do.
How do you explain it?
Rudy, before his disappearance, was a very shy, timid young man, little boy. He was not one to do drugs, run the streets, be out of the house, go anywhere away from home. He wouldn't lie about something like this.
What about his mom?
Janie, on the other hand, is a whole different person. She's very conniving. She's very manipulative. She tries to make people fear her. Unless you really know her, know what she's about and how she is as a person, you won't have any fear of Janie.
Real quick, before I continue, I do have a question that keeps popping up in my mind. And of course, I'm not sitting here trying to, blame the family or anything of that sort. But one main question I have that just keeps going like a broken record. If they knew that she was a shiesty individual, if they knew that she was a scammer, if they knew that she was manipulative, if they knew any of these things throughout the 8 years that this young man was missing, were they doing anything that they could? Were they doing everything that they could to expose this woman? Because it does make you wonder, if she was really that bad, why wasn't she caught at least 5 years ago? I'm just asking. I like I said, I'm not trying to blame the family, but it does make you wonder what stopped them. And then now everything's in overdrive right now. Everything's in overdrive. Now they're going, hey, yeah, she's a terrible human being. They're on not only, in the monster's perspective, she's probably sitting here going, they're on this smear campaign. Or were they always not very cool with Janny? You see what I'm saying? I'm just asking the question. Zoots and boots. Yes, thank you. Fair enough question. I feel that's fair. If she really was that, if she really is she clearly is. If these accusations are 110% true, which I do believe that they are, now that the family is stepping out, if she really was as evil as they are saying that she is, why weren't they really honing in on her throughout the time that this young boy was missing? And why didn't they not release the pressure until she actually cracked and goes, yes, he's in the basement. I locked him in the basement. Fine, he's there. Right? So it does make you wonder why suddenly now. But anyway, it just seems a bit odd. And it does make you wonder if there was extra work being done throughout these 8 years by the family, by the relatives, so on and so forth. But like I said, I'm just asking the question because that is the questions that I feel other people are asking as well. I feel like they would have been on news shows already saying this stuff about their sister, about their relative, I don't know. I don't know. Just asking the question. Anyway, moving on.
Help me understand something. This will be a little in the weeds for people, but I need it in my head. Rudy's father, your uncle, passed away 2014, correct?
I'm not sure what year it was, but yes,
right around there. 2011, your other cousin, Rudy's brother, passed away in a motorcycle accident. And I am told that the brother was older and had an insurance policy that named as the beneficiary his brother. Is that true?
Oh.
Yes, that's what I was told years ago, and it came out again today.
Now, it is not only unusual that someone would name a sibling as a beneficiary, but it also puts money into this situation. Do you believe money was part of this situation? And if so, how?
Most definitely. Janie has always been one to be after money in any way she can get her hands on it. And she didn't care from who or how. She was going to do just that. She tried to make people believe that she had money, that she came from a whole lot of money. Like she was this wealthy person and she always tried to live a high class life, and she didn't have that. If it wasn't for my grandma providing for her, giving her a place to live, or all the men that she's been with, she wouldn't have.
Now, I will say this: we are going to be looking into some things about the mans, because apparently she had some mans. Yes, plural. But let's continue.
Now, ordinarily, Michelle, I would be offering this opportunity to your aunt to tell her side of the story and explain any of this away. We don't know where she is. You are aware of this as well, that people don't seem to know her location, and there's even some suggestion that people should be careful because she could be armed. Are you aware of this?
I'm sorry, you cut off. I was going off and on. I didn't get the last part of it.
Is it true that you don't know where she is right now and that there's some suggestion that she might be armed or has access to weapons?
Oh, she is armed. She has 2 guns licensed to her.
Oh, yeah.
She is carrying. She's always carried them. And she, my understanding is she is hiding here in Houston somewheres where we don't know.
Can you believe there have been?
Okay, so she's armed right now. She got some pew pews. Okay, and she's out here. No one knows where she is, allegedly. Yet yesterday there is some video that I'm going to show you guys from Grizzy Hood News. Shout out to Grizzy Hood News. That show that she was in the area at least yesterday. Where she is now, nobody knows. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting when they give you that time, when 5-0 gives you time to pack your ish and just disappear like a thief in the night? Very interesting.
No charges in this case? With everything that you know and what Quanell X has said and what people in the community were saying, I mean, this is the crazy part to me, or one aspect, is that this is Houston. You know, not like some backwoods, you know, in the mountains where nobody's ever around. And people have been saying, no, that's Rudy. Rudy's here. He's still in the neighborhood. How did the police get it so wrong?
They're just not doing their job. They don't want to believe anything, and they're not doing what they should be doing. Janie has been hiding him and keeping him and still telling the public, telling reporters, everybody nationwide that he is missing, so she can collect money from different donation fundraisers and GoFundMe accounts. The police, if they had stopped her various times, as they have said, and have questioned and asked for their names, do you not get a driver's license or an ID to prove? I mean, my understanding is you get pulled over, the officer is supposed to ask for your registration and ID and insurance. Was this not provided? Did they not ask? I mean,
see, and those are the questions that I was asking as well. Okay, let's keep it real. David Fleshman, let me pull this up really quick. David Fleshman on Facebook, thank you so much for the comment on Facebook. Here's one for you. So in 8 years since he went missing, not one person on the family went to her home? Really, no one? So I didn't mean to yell that, but he did that in caps. So let me just say this. Yeah, David, I agree, mother lover. Okay, and I would be screaming it in all caps too. Not one person the entire time. That's the only reason why I'm sitting here saying what I said, because I said this yesterday too. I said, make this make sense. Team Auntie, I'm all with it. I'm with it all day. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Team Auntie, whoop-de-woo. But at the same time, though, for 8 years, they didn't go into her house. For 8 years, they didn't sit there and become inquisitive, at least do a little bit of pushback, at least go, let's just come. Can we just walk through your house real quick, sweetheart? Because we think you lying, right? If they really think she's really as bad as she was, or as she is, which she clearly is, why didn't they say at that time, sweetheart, we think you're lying. We want to see your house. We're coming over right now. And open the door as soon as we knock on the door. Don't sit there and give us 20 minutes before you actually open the door. Because that's what apparently one of the women in Team Auntie said during their impromptu press conference on the side of the road in Houston. They said, hey, I would call, I would go over there, I'd knock on the door. It would take her 20 minutes to open up the front door. She said, I knew it was bad because I would time it every single time I would show up to her house. Then they talked about the mother, the grandmother that was staying with Janie. And see, that's the other thing. And I'm sorry, I'm going to play the rest of this, I promise. But I got to take a solo second for a second. Think about this. They said, oh, my grandmother, the grandmother would look disheveled, in bad shape, unkempt, malnourished, dirty, so on and so forth. So if you knew about that, why would you let grandma, one of y'all's biological mother, why would you let Janny stay with this woman? I don't know. But see what I'm saying? The math is not mathing for me. And I'm not sitting here saying that that they are lying or that they're a part of the issue, but it does make you wonder what the F is going on here. Something is not right. Okay? David said again on Facebook. Again, thank you so much for watching on Facebook. I appreciate it. And those of y'all who are watching everywhere, I appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that like button, hit that follow button on my Facebook page. If you're watching on Twitch or on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. In fact, I got a Threads now. Okay, so I'm on Threads as well. Follow me there. Okay, the Pascal Show as well. But again, so far, I've heard nothing, not one thing that makes this sound right in any way. But I have heard about 100 red flags. Right. I agree. Again, I'm not sitting here saying that Team Auntie is up to no good. Right. But at the same time, it still makes me wonder what the F is going on here. And why did they wait 8 years to finally come out and be out here in the public saying, yeah, she done did it, she's bad and all that stuff. Again, it just doesn't make sense. The math is not mathing for me. Okay? I'm just saying that I don't want no smoke. Okay? I want him to have justice. That's all I give a damn about. But the links in which all of this is going on doesn't make sense. And I said this on the other show, and I'm going to say it again. If this was my own nephew, okay? Because I got two beautiful, intelligent, amazing nephews. If this happened to any of my nephews, I would stop at nothing. Even if I thought that, even if I thought that the parents were up to no, I'd be inquisitive as hell. I'd be knocking on I'd want to know everything. Give me the timeline again. Where were they? How did this happen? Blah, blah, blah. Especially if you know that the mama is bad. And she's this red flag city? I don't know. I just feel like I would not be sleeping. I would not sleep until I found out the truth, because that information would be eating away at me so much, guys. And that's why I'm like, this does not make sense. And I want justice for this young man. It's just weird. Like I said, I don't want no smoke. I don't want no problems. I'm just asking the questions that I feel like a lot of us are asking. Mrs. Krampus, thank you so much for the $10 super sticker. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. Nicole B, what's up? Thank you so much for the $5. Sounds like aunties were in on it until the funds ran out. Oh, damn. I don't know. I mean, I guess we got to take a lot of this with a grain of salt, obviously. And we, innocent till proven guilty, of course, as well, when it comes to all this stuff. Too, these accusations, though, feel very real, feel extremely palpable, feel very plausible, given the fact that this young man was literally in that house, hiding in plain sight for 8 whole years. But now that you have aunties coming out and saying all this stuff, it does make you wonder, what's their timeline too? Why wasn't there anything up with them, or why weren't they making a ruckus back in the day? Because this would have been national news. Trust and believe. 8 years ago, it would have been national news. Okay, real talk. It would have been international news. Okay, but again, these are just questions that I have. Right? Let's play the last piece of this.
My understanding is you get pulled over, the officer is supposed to ask for your registration and ID and insurance. Was this not provided? Did they not ask? I mean, I don't believe that she was giving fake names and just getting away with it. I think there's more to it, and they're just not saying. They're hiding something.
Exactly. I agree with that last part as well. There's too many situations. There's too many red flags in this situation. There's too many loopholes or unanswered, incomplete sentences that have yet been answered, that I feel we're still waiting. right? We're still waiting to hear the truth. And Charmed Lynn, yes, maybe fake IDs, maybe, or fake IDs. You know, like it is a bit weird. Okay, it is a bit weird that he would either have a few run-ins with the law, same thing with the mama, and they would say fake names. Not once did they sit there and go, license and registration, please. Do they have fake IDs? Are those IDs that good? Did they steal IDs from their, you know, did she steal IDs from her extended family? Like I said, it just, math ain't mathin', y'all. Math ain't mathin', okay? But I wanted to share this with you guys too. This is from Grizzy
Janie.
Ooh. This is from Grizzy Hood Crimes. Or Hood News, I'm sorry. Grizzy Hood News, okay? I wanted to share with this with you guys. Allegedly, this is Janie's car around the area where Rudy is staying at, because he's not with the mother. They've separated, okay? They've separated him from her, maybe to keep him safe, okay? And of course, but from my understanding, he is still under the wing of someone that is friends with her. So it begs the question if he is still under the influence of her. You see what I'm saying? But let's look at this here really, really quick.
This is Janie's car. Janie just pulled up to where this young man has, you know, he's being protected at. Oh, man, this stuff is crazy. This is Janie's rental. And I hope she gets the notification. I haven't blocked her off my page yet. That's the ride that Janie's going around in. What's up with it, Hood News peeps? She just passed by and she doesn't know I'm behind her.
That's crazy.
That's Janie right there, friends.
This was yesterday, guys. This video is from yesterday. But allegedly she is following around.
She's going real fast now. She better slow down.
Yeah, because she knows she's getting followed.
This is Rudy Farias' mom.
That's crazy.
Macario Garcia. Okay, I see her over there. She's not gonna get out of my sights from that I was live.
So, as you can see, this is obviously a video showing allegedly this is Janie in her car. Apparently, her car is packed up. She got a few pew-pews with her. All right. I guess she's been getting a lot of threats, if you get what I'm saying. So she's running around packing heat, okay? And she's been circling around the area of where Rudy is staying at. For what reason? I don't know. Because maybe she feels, maybe there's an obsession with him. Maybe she feels there's a dependency that she needs to be with him. She needs to be around him. Obviously, this is not somebody, if the allegations are true, this is obviously somebody who is not a well individual in the mind. And if those allegations are true about the things with the shower and the bed and all that stuff, which I'm not going to go into gruesome detail, but she may have some strange infatuation with Rudy. And the fact that he's not home, or that he is not with her, is probably eating away at her. And also, let's not forget the fear of him actually speaking out again. And she doesn't have control over that. There's a control situation going on here too. Think about that for a second. Pretty crazy. I got a super chat here. Let me get this. K Bragg, thank you so much for the 10. A lot of people of color families, in a lot of people of color's families, it's normal to quote unquote mind your business, keep it in the family, and avoid law enforcement, especially when it concerns DV or child A. Problematic for sure. I mean, I could definitely see that for sure. I mean, as far as keeping whatever's going on concealed within a family, or we're going to handle it ourselves, blah, blah, blah. Because yeah, let's be real. 5-0 can be questionable sometimes when it comes to things like this, especially when it comes to people of color, minority families, etc. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying there, and that's crazy. But if this was a thing and they were saying that we're keeping it in the family, we're going to handle it all ourselves, we're going to keep this confined between us, okay? Then why didn't they speak out? Why don't we hear stories from other people speaking out saying, yeah, there was a lot of bad, wrongdoing that was going on beforehand, so on and so forth? Why didn't we hear those things? Why wasn't this a story or a conversation or a topic or an interview or even on a podcast in the last 8 years? Because for a fact there'd be a podcast somewhere out here, okay, like the Interview Room or something like that, or those big true crime podcasts, okay, would be out here having that interview, getting that exclusive, hearing the truth, or hearing their truth on the situation of this missing young man in 2015. Like, why wasn't this talked about before? But now it's all out and things have unearthed. So suddenly now everybody and their mama, the aunties, are now coming out. Again, I'm with it. I'm here for it. I'm team auntie all day long, but I still keep wondering, why now? Why right now? Why not 2 years ago? Why not 6 months ago? Why not 6 months after he went missing? They said that somebody called and said, hey, so on and so forth is missing, right? We think he's still here. Cops showed up in 2018 and did not find him. So they just said, well, and they just went back to doing their other business, writing citations and pulling people over. It just stopped after that. And then now, of course, because he saved himself, it's very odd. And Shalana, yes, he will be doing a press conference at 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, just so you guys know. Hopefully I'll be around for that. Hopefully I will be around for that. But just so that you guys know about that, okay? It's okay with CJ. Yes, just because we didn't hear from them doesn't mean that they weren't speaking up. That's true. That's very, very true. But even so, I feel like if they were speaking up, I just feel like it would at least be in the local periodicals, right? It'd be a local news article. It'd be front page for one day about this one particular thing, so on and so forth. It's true that, yes, there is a possibility of that for sure. But I haven't seen it. Have you? That's what I'd like to know. And I am very, very concerned over I'm very concerned over the safety of this young man too. Because one, she's running around here with packed. Okay. What if she gets one glimpse of him and feels some type of way? I'm just saying, I'm concerned over his safety. And we don't know what her mental state is right now. Clearly, if the allegations are true, her mental state is unhinged and has been unhinged for a long time. The other thing I do want to point out as well is that this is a generational thing as well. From what we heard from the press conference, what we heard from the team auntie, one of them did come out saying that their stepfather did some horrific, terrible things to them as well. And then, of course, this influence that Janny went through, she took that and she passed it on. And she continued the cycle. That generational curse, she passed it on to Rudy as well. Except maybe even worse, or maybe it was the same MO. I don't know. Same procedure. We don't know. But it's still diabolical what she is being alleged of doing. Now, there's some information here too that I wanted to share with you guys as well. And this is the thing that's frustrating. Just really quick on what I just said. It's sad because it can be a generational thing as well. It can be a generational cycle that it just keeps getting passed from one generation to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. And either it stays the exact same or it gets more intense, right? Because of how badly mentally broken that person could be or can be, right? It's frustrating because you got this young man that now is deeply, deeply traumatized because of what's being alleged. And it does make you wish you could have been there to stop this cycle from happening. What some would deem, because of how they were brought up, they deem to be normal, when it clearly is not. And it's very, very sad, to be really honest. But I got some more information for you guys. This is some interesting stuff. Okay? So we got to talk about this, okay? And I find this very interesting. So veteran ex-husband of Rudy's mom, okay, claims she's a bigamist and had marriage annulled after learning she was still legally married to at least one of 5 other spouses. Like I said, this story is about to go off the rails if it hasn't already done that. It's about to get crazier. Okay? So the embattled mom of missing Rudy Farias was accused of bigamy by a former husband who demanded an annulment just a year into their marriage. So Gilbert Quiros, hopefully I'm saying that right. I'm probably butchering the hell out of it, but you get what I'm saying. Claimed that he wed Janny Santana on October 23rd, 2012, only to discover she was legally married to at least one of 5 other possible spouses. Just 12 months after tying the knot, I'm not going to continue saying his last name, but Gilbert, okay, filed for divorce in Houston, outlining his suspicions and arguing that the union was null and void. The case adds to Santana's tanged legal history. She also fought her family over guardianship of her mother, who passed away in 2020, court papers show. So she even fought to have guardianship over her own mother. Yet she was still treating this mother like garbage, according to Team Auntie. In the bigamy case, Santana 55 hit back against Gilbert, a military veteran and realtor based out of Phoenix, Arizona, alleging he was guilty of extreme cruelty and adultery without elaborating. So she could have just made up a whole bunch of stuff just to fire back at him. The annulment was granted by the Harris County judge on August 10th, 2015. This took 3 years. Wow. 3 years. 5 months after Santana reported her teenage son, Rudy, had gone missing. 5 months. Filed for divorce. Here's the gentleman right here. Here's Gilbert. That's very interesting. Neither Gilbert, Jana, nor any lawyers involved returned calls. Of course, we already know that. According to the divorce papers, the couple were married by proxy while Gilbert was stationed in Tucson with the Arizona Air National Guard. Respondent is Jani Santana, sorry. Respondent has also previously used the names Jani Santana Rodriguez, Jani Santana Larios, Jani Santana Farias, and possibly Jana Oresti. The October 2013 petition states the purported marriage is void and of no effect because respondent was already legally married and a party to other purported marriages. What the hell? What the hell? The filing cites documents demonstrating that Santana married Patrick Rocha in July 1997, and then J.P. Gonzalez in 1998. That same August, she petitioned a Harris County judge to have the marriage to Gonzalez annulled on the basis that she was already married to Rocha, according to Gilbert's suit. He claims Santana filed a probate motion in July 2007, arguing that she was the common law wife of another man, John T. Rodriguez, a sheriff's deputy and 23-year-old law enforcement veteran who had recently passed away. And we know about that part. Like, what the hell is going on? This is a mess. Gilbert also links his ex to Roberto Larios, citing a divorce petition filed by Santana as proof that she and Larios were common law married from 1999 to 2010. Finally, he claims that Santana married Sucre Amori Diaz, hopefully I'm saying that right, in 2009 of December, and that Diaz indicated in a December 2012 deposition that he was still married to Santana. I'm trying to, my mind is trying to wrap around all of this. Okay. So that's why I'm kind of like going slowly through the information because my mind is still wrapping around it. But she was, wow. How many marriages 5 different marriages, it sounds like? If true, that would imply that 2 months into her marriage with Gilbert, Santana was still married to Diaz. Santana's May 2015 counterclaim does not address the alleged overlap, but instead demands $25,000 in damages from Gilbert. Gilbert has been guilty of extreme cruelty towards Jani, warranting termination of their marital relationship. Her filing alleges Gilbert has committed adultery. Reconciliation is a no-go. What in the hell? And this is the father, allegedly, that ended himself. Okay? That same cop that did the unthinkable to himself, did the ultimate to himself. Okay? This is that cop. Oh, wow. But this is crazy, y'all. In the case of Santana's mother, court documents show she was involved in a legal fight with her 4 sisters and one of her brothers over guardianship. Santana's older sister, Sylvia, 64, described her filthy home and claimed their mother, Rosa, who passed away aged 85 in May of 2020, had been forced to sleep in a stinking sofa covered in urine. According to the complaint, according to the complaint filed just 2 months before Rosa's death, man, the house was, quote unquote, not a clean, safe, or habitable residence for Rosa, who was described as the proposed ward in legal documents, adding the home had animal urine and feces throughout the house. So at least they were trying to do something for the grandmother. They were fighting, trying to get her out of there. So there is proof of that. There is proof of that. These filings show that. So that's good. That answers my question, right? That answers some of my question. So Sylvia added, proposed ward did not have a bed and slept on the couch, which smelled of urine. At the time the proposed ward last went into the hospital, she had significant bed sores that had gone untreated. The complaint also cites Santana alleged bigamy as one of the reasons for her being unsuitable to take care of her mother, and says she was ordered to pay $43,000 for unspecified fraudulent conduct over another marriage to Roberto Larios. Sylvia noted Santana had previously filed for bankruptcy and says she was convicted of disorderly conduct over the illegal discharge of a firearm in 1994 under her then name, Jani Uresti. Court records show she was handed 9 months probation and a $100 fine for the offense. Another sister, Pauline Rodriguez, 66, said their mother had known Rudy was still in the home, but Santana brushed off their concerns when they asked about him. She said, "My mom would always tell me, Rudy is here. He's there. He's in that room." And Jani said, "No, she's lying. She's losing it." Pauline also added, She has always been a pathological liar. She lies about everything. The bizarre case of Rudy Farias, alleged disappearance hit the headlines last week, which we already know. But this is a very interesting information, though, right? So this does show that the family was at least trying to get the grandma out of there. They were at least trying to get their grandma out of that house. But unfortunately, 2 months after everything, just before she passed, it looks like they were still doing all the paperwork. The complaint was filed, so on and so forth, but she still passed away 2 months after the complaint was filed. And this is the grandmother. So at least they were trying to do something. And this shows proof that they were trying to do something, trying to get the grandmother out, their mother out of this very disturbingly disgusting house filled with animal urine and feces throughout the house. That's insane. And I mean, obviously, to me, it's like that's a full-on. That shines a light. Like the how you keep your house is kind of like a good what's the word? Window into your own psyche as well. That's what I think. You know, if your house is an absolute shambles and is a mess, all that stuff, I mean, you know, especially when it's animal urine and feces all over the house, that can give you a fair idea of what's going on here too. Okay? But yeah, y'all, I mean, wow. Nuck and futz, okay? Crazy stuff, crazy stuff, guys. I mean, obviously, we now hear that piece, and that actually calms my concerns that I've had as of recently, trying to figure out what and why the family. It felt like it seemed as if the family wasn't. It just felt like the family wasn't doing anything, but it seems like they were trying to do everything they could legally so that they can get at least the grandmother out of that house safely. She was being treated unfairly. Obviously, she was being mistreated, malnourished, etc. And even when the grandmother said, "He's here, he's in that room, he's here," she used the mother, the grandmother or their mother, slowly. Maybe her mind slowly slipping, or just using the fact that she's older as an excuse for trying to say, "Oh, she's just losing her mind. There's nobody here." It's crazy, guys. This whole thing is very, very crazy and very, very sad. But hopefully we'll get some more information here soon. There will be a press conference at 4:30 today, a little bit later on today. Hopefully I'll be here for that. I'm going to try to be here. Okay. And yeah, if you're referring to this case, yeah, it is literally, this is like an onion. It's just multi-leveled or multi-layered, right? And the more and more you just peel back more stuff, the more you find out more crazy information. You know what I mean? Oh, real quick, I got this too. K-Bragg, thank you so much for the 5. I'm going to do my best not to be disrespectful, but how does she get 5 men to wife her up? I'm not seeing it. She must got that. I mean, you never know. I don't know. But there's something about it that just ain't right. All of it. She must know how to talk her way into and out of things, right? Master manipulator, which is insane, which is absolutely insane. But the fact that there's allegedly she had marriages overlapping each other is crazy to me as well. She had many names, many aliases, right? Man, it's crazy. It's crazy, guys. But anyway, that's the show. I appreciate all y'all for being here. It really does mean a lot. Be sure to hit that like button down below on your way out. That would really help this show, help the algorithm, all that good stuff. You know that. And of course, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. Hit that join button as well. Become a member or join my Patreon, patreon.com/the Pascal Show. Okay. But anyway, guys, it is time to get going. I appreciate all y'all for rocking with me on this one today. This one's a pretty wild one, and I feel like it's just getting warmed up. I just have a feeling it's just getting warmed up, but I just hope that it doesn't go off the deep end. Okay? I just hope it doesn't go off the deep end, that we keep it civil. We stick with the facts and the information before this turns into just a cluster F. Okay? We don't need that. Okay. We need to stick with the facts and stick with the information. But anyway, guys, it's time to get going. I appreciate it. I appreciate all y'all. Real talk. It really does mean a lot. Okay. But I will see you guys very soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. And hopefully I'll be here at 4:30 p.m. with this information and with this press conference. So we'll be watching it together, hopefully, a little bit later. Okay? So I'll see you guys soon. This is The Pascal Show. Bye.